Hello, everybody. It's hey, Leslie. Hello, everyone. As you're flowing in, I have things sliding off my desk right now. They're supposed to be keeping me connected to the internet, and I'm hoping they don't keep. I'm having a gravity issue over here. Hold on a second. So all right, we're probably better now. Hey James. Hello, my Chicago economist. Hello, people. I'm trying. Apparently, my getting situated, it was not complete. It was not as complete as I thought it was right before getting on here. Hello, Star. Hello, everyone coming in. Uh, it's happy Friday the 13th, Janelle. I forgot that it was supposed to be a bad look. Hello, D. I'm sorry you've missed me. I'm glad you're here. Glad everyone's here. Keith said more cheese. You know what? This is the first week that last week I like to say 2 anxiety cheesecakes and 1 victory cheesecake. Hello, Akiko. I hope you're feeling well, but I know you're having kind of a bit of a long-term not feeling well. So I'm sending you some hearts, sending you some love. If you guys are not hanging out in our Discord, the link to SciBabe Discord server is on the top of it's pinned to the top of the page on SciBabe, and that's where we'll all get personal. That's where we all get very it's a love fest between me and you guys, and all we're turning into a little family over there. It's how we're surviving this pandemic, from my home and from your home and from our homes, and from my cats to your cats and from my dog to your dog. It's hello, Lauren in Boston. Hello, Charles out in Arizona. Hello, all the other wonderful states that Joe Biden won. Landslide victory, according to Kellyanne Conway. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to be political anymore. I just had to do one more. So Sharon said we get SciBabe all to ourselves tonight. Yeah, indeed. Oliver is walking in front of the my light as usual. But just in the wake of the election being over and exhaustion and everything else, I took a week of being like, nah, I'm taking to this. This is just we're taking some time to reconnect, you and me, and we're going to go over some COVID stuff. I have been in the process of booking some guests going out next week and beyond. I'm very, very excited. Star said, "Oh, be political." I'm exhausted about being political. We're going to go back to being lightly political because we had many, 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 many weeks of being hyper political. And I gotta, whew, I finally went back to be, it's nice to have politics be a side thing that we can tap dance on here occasionally. But man, that was like we did all politics all week last week, and I'm not a politician. I don't want to do politics full time. And a lot of people who come to this page, don't, want politics full time, right? And I understand that. So I'm glad that I'm glad that we were able to, hop into that space for a little while, and now we're going to hop back out. And COVID is going to always have, it's going to have some politics in it, because a problem this massive needs to be handled on a federal, it's handled by politicians who are working with scientists, so this is the kind of Martin Waters, very, very funny. I just have to throw this on the screen. Was there some sort of political event happening over there? Nah. Nothing whatsoever. It's just tiny local election, local little thing. So I'm glad that I'm very glad that my phrasing on this has caught on. It's not that I wanted to fuck with science, or sorry, it's not that I, the scientist, wanted to fuck with politics. It's that politics stuck its dick into science, and so I had to fuck it back. Okay, so it's dick would. It stuck its dick in me first, okay? So I just fucking it back. Anyways, so I'm glad that we got through the last few weeks, and I'm glad that we're kind of that we're over that. I see you mentioning. I see you, Laura, mentioning Kevin Folta. That's a story for another day. He's we don't really talk much about agricultural science anymore here, and that's not, it's not the main thing that we're chit-chatting about right now. But anyway, it's right, and this is very exciting. I'm thrilled because I've been on stage with her before, and she is right in the fucking heart of all the COVID things. So if you are one of my Kiwis, one of my New Zealanders, you definitely know who this person is. Who we haven't confirmed a date yet, but she said she'd come on. Dr. Susie Wiles is going to be on, and I'm so excited because when I was in Australia for National Science Week, when I was down in Tasmania, we did a show we did a show together. We went and had a conversation. We're on stage, did some science conversating, and she is just the loveliest human. She's so wonderful, so smart, so well spoken, and she's been she's been basically getting New Zealand through that. She's been the science communicator in New Zealand that's been getting them through the entire pit. Oliver, stop licking my water bottle. But yeah, I'm really excited that Susie Wiles is going to be coming on here, and she's just so smart, so brilliant, so well spoken. It's just a treat that we're going to be having on here. I'm not sure if it's going to be next week or the week after, but we're going to be getting her scheduled on. And because of the time zone difference, I don't know if you've heard, but we're kind of on the opposite side of the planet. It's going to be hard to get the scheduling in, so it might not be at the normal time. But either way, if we have to schedule this for the middle of the night for me, it will be worth it for Susie. So I'm really excited about that. Also, as I found out today, as we were just chatting about getting politics back out of this, it's Rick Wilson, one of the two people in charge of the Lincoln Project, retweeted me. And as I learned, we follow each other on Twitter because occasionally someone with a bunch of followers will follow me. He's got over 1 million followers, and he retweeted me earlier today, and my mentions just went freaking nuts. And then he slid into my inbox, and I'm like, let me see if I can get him on. So my plan is to try to get Rick Wilson on. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm trying. I'm really trying, because I think it'd be fun to interview him and be like, so what was it like to work on taking down Donald Trump? What are your plans for this? And what are your plans in the future for the Lincoln Project? Because I have suspicions. I want to know. Anyways, I see Christine Parson over on Periscope said she might be doing this from Facebook. Just to clarify, I do all of these broadcasts using Restream.io. It's a service that streams out to a bunch of different services. So this is going from Restream over to Facebook, to Periscope, which is the Twitter service, to YouTube, and over to Twitch. And so I've got this is just, we're heading out to all the different corners of the internet right now. So what I'm saying is, Rick Wilson, if you see this right now on your Twitter stream, I want you to come hang out. My audience wants you to come hang out. We're gonna chat about some democracy, maybe about some COVID. It'll be a good time. Just come hang out. Anyways, so I see a couple people saying you closed your Facebook this week, and that's why you're over on YouTube's or over on that. This is why we have options. This is why I use Restream. It's just so you guys can. Oh boy. So also quick note, because I keep saying I'm going to get back over to the COVID, and I keep not, because there are other things to chit chat about. Someone just said, just want to let you know I'm sure it was not just me. Somebody said you broke the Trump hotline. So as some of you may know, there was a hotline where you could call in to let them know about the very real voter fraud that was happening this election. So I called in a few times as Melania trying to find divorce lawyer for after election, because it's time to get out when Deutsche Bank comes looking for money. I as Melania don't have money. I need divorce attorney. So I called looking for. I had a good time on we have a monthly Patreon live stream. It's just me and the folks that help keep me alive. So if you would like to join my Patreon, there's a link below. It's just $1 a month to try to keep a science communicator alive, and to watch me prank call the Trump war room. Allegedly, I would never give the president false information. Never. Anyways, so the Trump war room calls were a delight, at least from my point. I also allegedly made a phone call from Barron Trump's teacher to let them know that that Barron was caught with a stack full of ballots voting for Biden. So that was a good time. Anyways, that was a thing that happened. A couple people are chit-chatting, I see in the comments, about heading over to Parlor. Oh boy, yeah. As I like to call Parlor, douchebag safe space, or douche lord safe space. I think it's a little bit more accurate. A couple people are calling it mind space. Oh, I love that. It's just I'm waiting for the Parlor jokes to get old, but they're getting about to the mental age of the people who use the website, so they're not going to get old yet. Just I feel a little sad for it. It's just like, man, every 5 minutes the same group of people are like, I'm leaving for Parlor. Okay, no, really, I'm going. This you can it's fine. No, real, I'm go. Okay, bye. It's the whole thing about it is just they gotta let you know they're leaving. Nobody fucking cares. Go to Parlor. It's okay. Like, the thing is, or sorry, it's Martin Waters asked, what's this Parlor? So technically, it should be pronounced parler, which is the French pronunciation because it comes from the French verb to talk, or to speak. And it's just they want to go over there and have their little space where the libs aren't keeping their speech down. Yeah, because conservatives are. They started getting big mad when warnings were put on all of the Trump tweets saying these are these are false information. These tweets are just so ridiculously misleading. We need to put a warning on them because of how false they were. It's just, eventually it's gonna become, because no one other than these people in this one little ecosystem are gonna join there. And what they like doing online is, let's be honest, their whole it's these people jerk themselves off to triggering the libs, and without that, what are they? It's just this whole little ecosystem of I'm mad about the liberal. Like, that's what are you? How is that? That they are not going there for the conversation and for the nuance and for the academia of it, or for the intent. Like, that's not what they're doing. They just want a place where they can say, I'm mad about the trans kids and having to learn a new pronoun. Like, I'm pretty sure that's all they want to do over there. It's just they're Kelly Grabowski-Howell just commented, it's a big echo chamber. The funny thing is, I could be misremembering this, but I believe like their version of like a retweet is called an echo, which doesn't echo chamber. Oh, it's just funny. It worked out well. So I hope they're happy with themselves. I'm sure they're patting themselves on the back and letting that hand go down a little further so they can just keep jerking themselves right the fuck off. Just, oh man. Anyway, it's a circle jerk of rage. It's a circle jerk of jerks. Anyways. Oh my God, Chad. So if you guys remember, my friend Chad McDonald was on here a few weeks ago. It's the Q Cucks Clan. Oh my God. I'm gonna start calling it that. It's just fucking. Oh, I'm sorry. I need a moment. That's too fucking good. Well done. That's beautiful. Someone. Lenora Weeks Gross is mad that I use the phrase jerking themselves off. Lenora, I'm too bad if the phrase jerking themselves off is too bad for you, is too mean for you. If that's the language that triggers you, this is not the place for you. I'm sorry. Go. Bill Nye can teach you science, whatever. Anyways, and I love Bill, but I'm the science communicator who swears. But anyways, so someone just said, so let's talk about the COVID, because that is what we came here to chit chat about. Someone just Russell Smith just said in the comment, Chad, you are my new hero. Chad is a hero. If you don't know where to find him, he is over at the Good, the Chad, and the Ugly. That's his page over on Facebook. Go check him out. He's delightful, and just like me, is full of piss vinegar rage, and is a fun follow. We've met each other via following each other's pages on the Facebook, so it's just, yeah, go hunt him down. Anyways, so let's chit chat. Susan Jackson has commented, sorry to be rude, but when have you ever claimed to be classy? Never, not a day in my life. No, just not a thing I do. Anyway, so it's a couple people are talking about, which wave are we in with this thing? So I've talked about it being like wave 1.2, it's, we had wave 1.0. And like, here's the thing, sorry, getting a little bit of hair cut in this. So, wave 1.0 was New York. And like, I should, one day I will learn how to get a picture up on the screen that I can refer over to and my face at the same time. But wave 1.0 was New York City. And wave 1.0 in New York was way more massive than 1.1 and 1.2. And that's the thing that we don't really have the right, like, all the data on, because we didn't have testing available. We were just steamrolled by it. So what happened when that came in was we had a full somebody just, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name and I don't want to screw it up. I don't know if it's Adi or Adi. What are you going to do with all the rage post Trump? My rage is just, I'm going to do what I've always done with that rage. I'm going to focus it on other bullshit artists that are in my field, because it was so hard to, here's something, I'll get right back over to wave 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 in a minute. But the thing about being a debunker in the era of Trump that has just been so hard is that in order to get someone to believe that anything that you're debunking, is that they have to have an ability to believe that somebody is telling the truth, that there is truth out there somewhere. And if you have somebody who's in the White House who's spouting that there are alternative facts, that you can't trust anyone in the media, that that there is nothing that's true for real. Nobody trusts anyone in the media, and my job becomes almost superfluous, because there are people, like, I'm going to guess most of the people who are watching right now are already the type of people who are coming to me and going, all right, I want to learn how to be, a slightly more critical thinker about the media that I'm consuming. And that's kind of more of what I do, is teach you how to be more critical about the media you're consuming. I'm not teaching you science. Let's be completely upfront about that, because I'm not teaching you the inner workings and the mechanics by which certain types of chemical reactions happen. Right? I'm teaching you how to better sort through all the bullshit in the media, and that is so hard to do when you're just being fire hosed with it from the top on down. And so it's much easier now for me to go, take a deep breath, look piece by piece at the things that are more in my field that I want to do, that has been, the bread and butter of what I do all the time. And people are going to be more likely, are going to be, say, a little less likely to go, yeah, but can you try, it's mainstream media. What's the, I'm hopefully going to be able to get a little bit more of a grapple hook in reality with people. And that's what I'm going to do with all that rage. Because I like to joke that I'm fueled by rage, but I want to be fueled by rage on things that are in my subject, not Twitler. This is not what I want. This is never what I wanted. Like, I don't like when someone in politics is making it so hard for people to understand what's real in science. This does not help my day. It doesn't help my day when somebody who's not a scientist in any field makes it hard for people to understand what science is. But man, when it's coming from the top, it's like everything through this pandemic, it's just been like, and I know I've said this before, but it's been like a sum of all fears level event for people who are science communicators, because it's been like, someone telling you that homeopathy is gonna help you fall asleep, whatever, that's a placebo. That doesn't really, quote, doesn't really hurt anyone. Like, it hurts someone's wallet, it hurts someone's understanding of science. It chips away at our shared understanding of what reality is and how medications work, right? But it's, at the end of the day, when somebody takes a sugar pill and the placebo effect helps them fall asleep, even though I want them to know that they're taking a sugar pill, and I want them to not give their money to that corporation because they're being allegedly misled, that doesn't physically harm them. I want them to not have that lie being, I want that transaction to be honest, but like, we need people to have a shared basis in reality going forward about how medicine works, about how science works, about how the scientific process works, so that when we get to something like COVID, they understand that the people who are the researchers and the scientists and people like me who are, trying to get that message over to them from the people who are in the lab and doing the research and their doctors, so that they know that that all of these things come from a place that is deeply and carefully researched and has a process and has things in place and safeguards, and that there's something behind this, not just somebody saying, "Hey, I took this and it works." Like there are safeguards so that you're getting something that is well researched, and it feels like during the Trump administration there has been a move to just say whatever I want to be true is true. Like with we went through this whole long era with, and I'm just going to bring up hydroxychloroquine for an example. Y'all remember all the arguing I had to do about fucking hydroxychloroquine? Like I could go into all the different various bullshits with this, but like, I mean, I even said every single time it came up, I'm like, you show me the evidence that it works. I'm perfectly happy to say that it works. Every time. And that's how science works. You show me the evidence. I will say, every time I'll support you and say it works. I was hoping that would have been great, right? Readily available drug that we've had for a while, that we know that we have safety data on. If it works, that would be fantastic. Like there was no reason for any scientist or doctor to say no, this doesn't work, except data that says no, it doesn't work. And because Trump said it and just kept pushing it, people in his party who just fell into this awful syncophancy, into this awful state of being sycophants. I'm not sure what the exact, but all these sycophants just kept on pushing this, and groups that they were not like, I don't know, this marketing branding of themselves as America's frontline doctors worked on some people, and they're like, well, I saw America's frontline doctors were saying it worked. It's like, these are not the people on the front lines. Most of them were ophthalmologists like Rand Paul, coming out and saying that it works. A woman who what was it, Dr. Stella Emanuel, who she had some interesting fucking beliefs, came out and said that it worked after, again, data saying it did not work. And then when Trump got it, and now here is again the disconnect between known reality that we see in front of our fucking faces and the thing that has been said and crammed into the head of the people that believe their leader. It was never reported. Trump never said it. His doctors never said. People are like demon sperm. That was what Dr. Stella Emanuel said. Demon sperm. We have the demons. God, I even forgot that 2020 gave us the demon sperm doctor. For fuck's sake. But when Trump had COVID, and here's the thing, as a person who wants people to follow the science, I didn't even want Trump to be given hydroxychloroquine because it doesn't work. And he was not given hydroxychloroquine. It was never reported that he was given hydroxychloroquine. He even fucking stopped talking about hydroxychloroquine. Funny fucking that, huh? So it was hard watching it happen, where every time I posted a new thing, and I would post when there was, some new thing saying there might be evidence that it works. It's like, all right, we're, today it works, tomorrow. I was trying to be as fair as I possibly could and give this drug every chance to succeed or fail. And it seemed really, really clear by the end, this obviously doesn't do anything, doesn't work, did not work. And it was interesting that every time I posted about it, it was like out of nowhere, people who never would have found my page otherwise, people who were like, these were clearly like, I'm not a spring chicken. I've been on the internet for 5 minutes. I can spot a bot. It was like out of nowhere, people with the exact same talking points every fucking time came on to be like, you have to take it with zinc. Hydroxychloroquine isn't what kills it. It's zinc, and hydroxychloroquine's the ionin for it. None of the studies had to. All these people came out with the same talking points every fucking time, and it was very strange. So that was, like I said, I just wanted to give one example of kind of one of the weirdness things that came out of this. Like, it was so odd that anytime I just mentioned, and that was just one of the bullshits that happened with COVID. So like I said, sum of all fears, with all these different bullshits flying, that either it's not either COVID isn't too serious, or it's really serious, but we have a cure, or there's a cure already, or like there was never like they couldn't come up with one line consistently. It was like, let's give you a bunch of different lines so that like whenever somebody comes and with facts and can squash that whenever somebody can squash the bullshit that you're spreading, they've got another it's like they just kept on coming up with different stories that they could try to promote. So it was not that they had a theory they were pushing. They're like, look, we really think we have some science that's behind this, idea of ours that, it's like there's science that's supporting one side and science supporting the other, and we have to figure out which one it is. They just figured if they kept throwing some bullshit against the wall, they could make people believe that nobody knew what was real. And that just wasn't the case. We always knew. I mean, we have Trump on tape to Bob Woodward saying we knew this was serious early on. So we knew this was serious all the time. Leslie just said, I love your guest, but I always appreciate your solo informational chat. I'm doing what I can. Like I haven't done any solo informational chats for a little while, so we're catching up. But it's been like it was a lot of time of just being like, what can we get people to not believe? And that's what that is. That's the propaganda handbook, right? That's just get people to believe that nothing is real. And if you can get them to believe that nothing coming out is real, you can eventually get them to believe anything. Just look to you and say, please tell me something that's real. So that's kind of how it's worked. That's been the playbook. So I'm really glad that Trump is out or going to be out eventually. And I know we're going to keep on seeing I'm going to get off politics soon, but I know we're going to keep on seeing, there are going to be continuous bits of maybe he's going to do this to try to see, and maybe he's got I'm doing what I can to tell myself he's going to be kicked out. He's going to accept the results of the election. It looks like people are just letting it sink into his brain, like sink a beta fish in to a tank. Like he'll figure it out that he's lost. He'll go home. He'll tell himself he'll run again in 2024. I'll keep praying that the cold hand of death takes him before then. Cheers. I'm not a good person. I've been turned into a worse person in the last 4 years, watching people allow 300,000 Americans come to death. Anyways, I'm just a little angry about that. So back to COVID wave 2 that's happened because of all of the fucking shenanigans of this administration. So I see a lot, and I have been watching you guys commenting while I've been going on this rant. First of all, Jessica, thank you for the compliments on my makeup. Anyways, I do what I have to feel good enough to come on camera. But I've seen a lot of you guys commenting that throughout your parts of the country, and this is terrifying. This is why I've been screaming, like I've been changing my battle cry from wear a fucking mask to stay the fuck home. I see all of you saying ERs are filling up, ICUs are filling up. We don't have any beds yet. The positivity percentage in my area is really high. And from reading all that, I need some fluids. And I keep seeing these numbers, and like, I wish that we had a more accurate way to put these numbers out there. Hold on a second. There we go. So the number right now is about 250,000. Like if it's not 250,000 Americans official today, it'll be 250,000 Americans official tomorrow. What? How is this real? How is this fucking real? And we're just all walking around like it's no big deal. Or some of us are walking around like it's no big deal. It's somebody just commented. I apologize. I don't know how to pronounce your name, sir. Somebody just commented, you are too USA focused, sir. I live in the USA, and this is where all the COVID is. So yeah, I'm a little USA focused. Things are fucked here. Things are really fucked here, and it's terrifying. So yeah, I'm USA focused. So things are bad here, and they've gotten bad for a handful of reasons. I mean, and I know that we keep hearing that the positivity percentage in certain schools are fairly low, and that's for a couple of reasons. I had a friend of mine on who's a journalist a few weeks ago, and we talked about this, my friend Tara Haley, and she said part of the reason why testing or rates are fairly low in school is because schools are schools aren't full at the moment. Most schools are not at 100% capacity because they're either a hybrid model, kids aren't in every day, a lot of kids are staying home. So So that's part of the reason why schools aren't getting as high of infection rates. If we put them all, and a lot of parents are like, this is bullshit. We have to, I'm tired of this. I have to send my kids back to school. Yeah, you know what happens if you send all of them back to school and they're all in there and schools are complete, like the school districts where they've sent kids all 100% back, they've closed very quickly. The schools where they have managed, where they've been like, look, this is going to suck, but we're going to have hybrid models. We're going to have some kids at home. They've managed to keep their infection rates lower. Some of them have started to close now, and they're closing because the infection rates in the community are going up so high that it seems inevitable that the kids are going to get sick too, partially because the parents are all going to get sick in the community and send it to school with with the kids. So it's just it's terrifying. I apologize. I see you saying, and you mentioned, I'm sorry that I don't want to screw up the pronunciation in your name, sir. I think your last name is pronounced Chakrabarti, and I have a long, hard to pronounce last name myself. I understand how shitty it is when someone can't pronounce your last name. It's just I don't want to mess it up. So anyways, yeah, I see you say sorry. Lockdown, had a few beers. I get it. I smoke some pot before these half the time. Anyways, but yeah, let's see. Let me just, I see this question here I want to get to, and I'm trying to get it on the screen before it scrolls on by. Can you explain the calculation of the positivity rate? I don't quite get it. So here's a good answer that I can give. So positivity rate is the percentage of positive tests out of all the tests they're giving in an area. So there are a couple things that are going on with that, right? So some people are going to go and get tested just kind of as I think that I had an accidental exposure and I want to see if if I'm positive, right? There are some people that are going to go because they are fucking sick. You go get tested for a lot of different reasons, right? When the testing rate gets above, or it's like when you get to a point where you're above, I think it's like 10% is where it's like, fuck, shut everything down. Because that's when generally, when you get to be like above 10%, that's kind of when, that's when we see hospitals start to fill up. That's when we see, major issues. But like when you're getting testing rates that are positive around, that are below a certain point, that tends, you're obviously seeing cases, but you tend to not see, hospitals filling up. You're not seeing societal issues, but, from the amount of positive cases. And I want to say, I apologize if I'm getting the numbers wrong. If anyone, and I always ask this, if anyone in the comments wants to correct me on this, please do. But it tends to be at around somewhere between, I want to say 7 and 10%, where it's like shit has gotten really bad when your positivity rate gets up there. But the positivity rate is just the number of positive tests. It's the percentage of positive tests out of the number of total positive, it's you take the number of positives, divide them by the total number of tests, multiply by 100, and that's how you get your positivity rate. It's the basic calculation. But yeah, it's just you need you just need it to be as low as the fewer positive tests, the fucking better. But you can, and there are a couple different ways that can be manipulated, right? It's beginning of the pandemic, we weren't giving tests to anyone, right? Like it was really hard to get a test. You had to basically lie. If somebody asked, Sarah McGinn just commented, Chicago just hit 14% positivity. Indiana is at 20%. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, if you're in Chicago or Indiana, no, I want to bring it back. Like just, it's easy to see those numbers and panic and go, oh my God, 20% of the state is 20% of the state isn't positive. 20% of the people being tested are let's remember that. So it's a lot of people are positive. So, but I mean oh my God, Utah's at 26%. Jesus. It's Brad Smith just commented 23%, and Kansas. Oh my God. Lindsay Lanier just said their counties at 14%. Guys, I can't say this enough. Stay the fuck home. Like I want to go out and do things. Like it's from all of, and I know I joke about my Botox usage, and by joke I mean I'm a dedicated user of the product. I'm looking a little wrinkly right now, and I would really love a top up. But you know what? I'm not going to. I'm going to grow bangs. That's my plan. Until I'm vaccinated for sure, I'm going to have bangs. I don't like bangs. I'm gonna deal with it. You know why? Because we're in a pandemic, and I'm okay with dealing with that amount of money. I'm gonna stay home with you guys. I just be sad about my forehead. Look, this is the most first world of problems. I get it. Okay, just humor me. I'm kidding. I promise. I'm not actually crying about that. Anyways, but look, like I get it. We all want to fucking go out and do things, but my God, these are some fucking positivity rates. So I don't know if all of you guys saw. I don't know if all of you guys saw the post I put up earlier, but I decided to look at kind of how many people around here in LA have COVID, because I'm like I don't know, like I'd kind of a couple people are like, you look cute AF. I'm like, you don't know how stressed out I look without eyeliner. But I look um I what was us saying before I got sidetracked by talking about my wrinkles. Oh yeah, so I hadn't actually looked at the just the number of people who had gotten it in my I was so stressed out by looking at just obsessing over the numbers going up and up and up on on the Worldometer's website for a while, and just looked at them for the first time in ages today, and did some quick calculations, and I'm like, and I want to be blunt. The thing that I posted earlier, just with some calculations and with a few facts and figures from the Worldometer's website, was we have to be upfront. These were extrapolations. So when I said it's probably around 1 in 10 people in LA have gotten this so far, extrapolation, okay? But it's minimum 1 in 20, probably 1 in 10 people in Los Angeles have gotten sick so far. But likely 1 in 20 people walking around right now in LA doesn't, like, a lot of people don't know they've gotten it. So, I mean, I live in a house of, depending on the day of the week, somewhere between 10 and 12 people. And I'm amazed we have not gotten sick so far. Now, me and one other woman in the house, my roommate who is in the Bengals, for legit, I have, anyways, so we're like, she's in the Pfizer trial, I'm in the Johnson & Johnson trial. So it's possible the two of us have both gotten the vaccine, or possible that we both got a shot of saline. So it's possible that we're both protected from bringing it home. There are a couple people in the house who have, lost their gigs during the pandemic, and two of us, and there are a couple people who are still going to work every day, but in in small office environments. Somehow 11-ish people, nobody's brought it home, which I'm like, I love my roommates even more. The fact that we've managed to, like, nobody's been a dick about following the rules. It's been pretty amazing. But like, I look at that and go, my roommates are about to pop, and I don't fucking blame them. This has been many months of everyone being really good about the rules, but like, there are 3 musicians in their 20s. They want to get laid. They want to go out of the house and go out and have like a life. But the funny thing is, the person who's like least likely to be strict about the rules is one of the guys who's in his, like, I think early 60s, and he's like, they went out to to a bar that was outside, and they were mostly being everyone, like, it's a couple, like, it is a very multi-generational kind of, it's a bit of a commune that I live in. I love the house that I live in. It's delightful. One of my friend, one of you guys asking, roommate was in the Bengals. She was, and then was not, and now is again. It's my roommate. Her name is Annette, and she is a bass player. Anyways, if you feel like looking her up, you can fucking go for it. Anyway, but one of the roommates who's older and has a heart condition, they were out at a bar, and it's, everyone else is being good and trying to socially distance and have their drinking, mask on, drink. They're behaving. The person who's older and has a heart condition, when someone went to hug him, he just, hug us straight. And when they were like, what are you doing? He was like, well, I can't just say no to someone hugging me. They're like, yes, you can. Yes, you can say no to someone who hugs you. So what I'm saying is, like, we're, even in my house, where people have been so good about following this, that 12 of us here, like I said, depending on the day of the week, 10 to 12 people, we haven't gotten it so far. We still have to remind people in our own home to be careful about this. And I'm at the point where I've just told people, hey, you know how you had plans that you wanted to go out and have, and you wanted to go out and do. Akiko just said boomers. Yeah, it's Chris said no. We can't kick people out. We can't. Here's the thing: we're basically a family in this house. Like some of the people in this house are family, and it's kicking out is not an option. But telling people they need to follow the rules better is. So it's where, and this is what I'm what I want to tell you guys. If you're living with people who are not following the rules, who you see go like, this is your health too. Like if you're living with people who are being like, no, I'm going to go out, they're breathing for you too. You're all breathing for each other if you're living in a house with people. So yeah, like please, for like if you've got roommates, if you've got people you're living, whatever, it's you got to sit down ground rules, because if they're going to bring it home, they're likely going to hit you with it. So, did a handful of quick calculations. Likely, like I said, it's likely that 1 in 20 people is wandering around Los Angeles with this, and it's likely leaning younger. I know for a fact that, and I mean, this has been in the papers, that there's been a an outbreak. Breakout goes on your face. Outbreak goes everywhere. Outbreak of it at USC, and that is the neighborhood that I'm in. So it's definitely hitting younger people quite a bit, and who are more likely to have asymptomatic cases, and who's more likely to go out to the bars? Younger people. So I get it. We really want to get the fuck out of the house. I had to drive. I drove a couple days ago up to Fresno. I really had to run an errand. It's a thing that happens occasionally. And you know what? Made very few stops. Did just what I had to and came back. But like it felt so good just to get the fuck out of the house for a few hours. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna snap. And I see why everyone wants to get out. But you know what? Can't do the things that we really want to just for a little while more. And I'm going to make this plea to you. Don't go home I said this yesterday. If you were here yesterday for this, I'm going to say it again. Just if you've got relatives who are like begging you to come home, but just wherever we are in this, like put a little button on this point in the video and clip this and send this to them. Don't go. You have a scientist permission. You have a scientist begging you. Don't go home for Thanksgiving. Don't bring people over for Thanksgiving. Don't have a party for Thanksgiving. I'm going to say this, unless the vaccine is out and you are the people who have managed to get that vaccine before. I don't think it's going to be out before Thanksgiving, because that's a TikTok. It's coming. But unless you are a healthcare worker who I'm going to guess it's going to go to healthcare workers first. I hope it's going to healthcare workers first. Unless you have managed to get the vaccine before Christmas, don't go home for Christmas either. You've got Babe is never mind giving you permission. She is fucking begging you. Don't do it. Because it's bad right now. People are never mind getting it from we're getting it from our own stupidity. We're getting it from tiny, like never mind. We don't need to have big super spreader events. The way that this is spreading at this point, because we're not like, it's not that we're having like, the way it really took off in Spain was, I believe, from a football match. And the way it's spreading here, because we're not having football matches, the way it's spreading here, small household parties. It's spreading from small gatherings. I mean, it's spreading from a lot of different things, but it's definitely spreading from small gatherings, because we're like, oh, I feel fine. And then the next day you're like, why do I have a cough? Someone at that party had a cough. And the number of stories that we've all read, like, because I don't post these every time I read them, because I don't want to inundate you with them, because I know you're all reading them too. All the stories in the New York Times, that these personal stories that are just harrowing from somebody who's like, I didn't take it seriously. Fuck this. I didn't take it seriously. Then I went, had a small gathering, just me, my brother, his wife, my parents, their parents. It's like, there were just 8 of us, and then we all got sick, and 2 people are still in the hospital, and I will hate myself forever. And I've read so many of these, and they kill me inside. And I'm like, I don't know what else I could have done. And I know deep in my heart, I couldn't have done anything more. I've been screaming about this since before most people were. Dr. Paul Offit fucking blocked me on Facebook for calling him out for saying that it wasn't that. He was like, this isn't going to be worse than the seasonal flu. Fuck you, Paul. Fuck you. I'm still mad about that. I'm not going to lie. He blocked me on Facebook. The posts from him where he said it wasn't going to be as bad as the flu are still up on his public page. So if you want to go and let him know that I'm still annoyed that he blocked me, go ahead. But yeah, Paul Offit downplayed it. Zdog MD, who I love dearly. And I mean, I had the best time ever hanging out with him. He's done a little bit of downplaying it. That's really bothered me because I think he should do better because his job is to warn people about public health emergencies. And he's done a little bit of this whole walk the line of the cure can't be better than the disease. Hold on a quick second. But like, yeah, it's a couple. Just to pull back a little bit, Paul Offit has made amends and said he's sorry about downplaying it first. So he's come over. He's admitted very he's given a full-throated admission that he was wrong about his early position in the pandemic. But I'm still blocked for telling him that he was wrong, which makes me very annoyed. And I'm still very annoyed about this. So that's a thing that happened. A couple of people are asking about the Zdog thing. So I know, from being in the studio with them, that a couple of the people that worked on Zdog's, team, because he has people, making the studio run there. I know he has a couple of kind of highly libertarian types, running the cameras behind there. I don't know if that's kind of influenced things with him, but Zdog, my friend, if this gets over to you, I love you, and you're wrong on this, and we shouldn't. I get it. That I get it that opening schools would be great for kids. Were this a normal time? This is not a normal time, and you're wrong. If you want to chat, I've asked you to come on this live stream before. Let's have a chat, man. There are a lot of people who want to chat with you about this, my followers included. Let's talk this out. Anyways, but yeah, it's been really disappointing to see people get so mad about this that get so deep into their political philosophies. Yeah, that's where I am today. Philosophies that they're not backing. It's I'm not sure. I know that you said quote basically. I don't know if this is. I don't know how much of an exaggeration this is from you. But you said Zdog basically called teachers pansies for not wanting to go back, and I don't know how much of it of an exaggeration or how much of hyperbole that is. But and here's the thing: I've seen people use I've seen people use that kind of that kind of rhetoric. Being like, teachers, why are you Lindsay Lanier said, please debate Zdog. I don't want to debate Zdog. I love Zdog. He's like, I when I say love him, I mean, I deeply love him. I don't want to debate him. I want to discuss this with him. Okay. Let's not make everyone our enemies. Let's make Zdog, instead of debating him, let's get him to be on the right. Let's get him to be right. Let's get him to be righter than he is right now. Okay. We don't need this to turn into a debate. But it's so a couple people are, oh man, it's so I guess he really did say that about teachers. I see Sarah Morrow saying as a teacher, he really pissed me off. But I've seen people, I've seen an article from a nurse saying, why are these teachers being such wusses about this? Because teachers did not go to school to deal with contagious, infectious, deadly diseases. Teachers went to school to fucking teach. All right. I say this as the daughter of an English, French, and history teacher. My mom was a teacher. I would not want her going to school right now. I would, if she was a nurse, I'd be like, yeah, she should fucking go and do the nurse thing because she's a nurse. But she's not. She's a teacher. She didn't she didn't sign up for going into a classroom full of and here's the thing, when she was a when she was a when she was a preschool teacher, I know that she got, when she was a junior high teacher, she got one set of sick with everything. When she was a preschool teacher, she got sick with everything else, because kids are not, I say this with love, not with hold on a second. I know a lot of hair in mouth. I know that it's fairly the expression snot nosed little brats. It's because kids get sick a lot, not because I think kids are brats. But they're kids. That's just what they do. It's when they're like they come out into the world and their immune system has they have kind of their mom's immune system, and then they start getting sick because they're building up their immunity to all the zillions of viruses out there that are far less deadly than COVID. So yeah, they get sick all the time, and they bring those illnesses right over to their teacher, and their teacher comes home with it, and they give them to their kid. Anyways, so. But I'm just saying, my mom and those of you who are out there who are teachers, and those of you who have moms who are teachers like me and dads who are teachers, they did not sign up to be coughed to have airborne death coughed on them. That's not what they went to fucking school for, okay? And I'm gonna defend that to my dying day. So, Zdog, I love you, but that's not what my mother signed up for. I don't know if anyone in your family went to school to teach Zubin, but that's not what they signed up for either. My mom signed up for a certain set of things. Everyone I know who signed up to teach, they signed up for a certain set of things, but they didn't sign up for a place in which they're not going to have proper ventilation or PPE or any of the support that they need from their school district in order to do this safely. So calling teachers basically pansies for not wanting to teach in a pandemic. Fuck off. Come on, man. Like I said, I love you, Zubin. I would love to have a chat about this. But also, Paul Offit, you blocked me. Fuck off. Anyways, so those are, like I said, we've had some communications issues. And the other, I'll own that I was wrong about some things too. I was, here's the thing. Everyone needs to have some food in their house for if they have to quarantine. And I was more scared of food shortages than I needed to be. Like I was right. Like things didn't get as crazy as they had to, as they were, or like there were some minor shortages. It doesn't seem like things got quite as out of control as we expected, but that's also admittedly because hold on a quick second. I can hear a party next door. This seems to be like a thing that happens like every Friday night, is that I hear a party next to. I want to throw some lightly used kitty litter at them. Why? Why? Fucking why? Do they not this is why we're never getting out of this. Guys, this is like the house next door to me. Just there are a bunch of luxury cars parked in the driveway. It's a bunch of fucking rich USC kids. And I would like to I want them to think twice about their poor life decisions without doing anything that will get me thrown in jail for vandalism. I keep going, why lightly used? Well, lightly used kitty litter means it's drenched in cat piss. Just saying. It would be a nice present. I'm a bad person. Anyways, but yeah, so that's big. So yeah, people are talking about, all the crazy stuff. Yeah, I did, I was worried that there were going to be food shortages. Like I was partially worried that there would be food shortages, but I also thought, if you get sick with this, you need about 2 weeks of food in your house. And I don't know if, I don't know if I was too concerned with the possibility of that happening or not. But I thought at the worst, I would end up with 2 weeks of food on my, of dry goods on my shelves. You know what happened? As some of you guys know from being in Discord or follow, I ended up getting pantry moths. Oh my god, I ended up getting pantry moths and having to throw out so many dry goods. A handful of things of flour, especially masa harina. Those the moths definitely had a taste for masa harina, and look, I just the number of pupusas that I could have made with all of that, it was very sad. Very sad. But it seems that I've gotten my pantry moth issue under control. But look, like I said, I didn't get everything right. during this either. I've tried to, I've tried to help when I can, to get the information out there, to help you guys be prepared. But like, man, seeing people who I used to really fucking respect downplay all of this has been hard, to say the least. Especially, people who I've respected, people who I've looked up to and taken information from. So that's been really difficult. But yeah, right now, things are awful. Things are just it's bad. In basically every corner of the country. There's a confluence of factors that have contributed to this, between schools being open long enough that it's been able to circulate. Like it's, yeah, and schools are a factor in it. And that includes everything from just schools being open to team sports happening, and all that. And I know some school districts haven't done it, but indeed some schools have been playing sports. I believe in Utah, didn't they just, and I was amazed, that whatchamacallit. I was so amazed, that this was the announcement, with Utah, because they were like, yeah, they were closing certain things and putting major, lockdowns on certain things, and they were like, we're gonna close down all the sports except for championship games, but we're not gonna let people attend in the stands. I'm like, wait, so you think COVID can't spread as long as it's a championship game? You're about to kill the lungs of a bunch of elite student athletes. Good for you, Utah. Good for fucking you. I'm sure those students won't be mad for the rest of their life if any of that shit happens to them. Like, where's the thinking on that? Like, and I get it. It is like, when you're a teenager, everything feels so urgent. Everything feels like it has to happen now, because it'll never fucking happen again, because you're 14 and my God, life is here now. But like, could you they're going to be here. It's, if we could just tell these kids something really neat. You're better at sports. Like, when you're 14, you're going to be better at sports next year. Let them have the championship 6 months later. You'll be better. You'll be stronger. You'll be taller. It'll be great. But it's just really weird that they're like, let's keep having, like, they don't have bubble. They obviously don't have safe bubbles for these kids in high school. Obviously not, since they're having everything shut down. But yeah, it's a little. Oh man, Courtney Ryder said, sacrificing our athletes on the altar of community sports. I'm gonna say that's, I don't know if that's better or worse than sacrificing them on the altar of capitalism. Oh my God, it's not the teenagers, it's the GOP politicians catering to the parents of the that's fucking worse. That's horrifying. Oh man, I just have to read this one. I pity you guys. We had 7 new cases in Australia in 24 hours. Schools are open, and though people are distancing, there's still not widespread mask use. What we did do was we took it seriously and locked out. Yeah, I've had a few people, comment, as I've been saying for the last few days. Hey, it's getting bad. A couple people have commented from Australia that have made me so sad that I don't live in Australia. That you guys have had. You were up to 700 cases a day earlier this year, and you guys locked down fucking hard and got your shit under control. And I look at what we're doing here, and I'm like, we're never going to get this under control. Like, until there's a vaccine or a new president, which are both coming soon, we're not going to be okay. We're just not. I see a comment from Ryan Blackhawk, one of my favorite regular commenters here. We had over 183,000 new cases yesterday, and about 1,400 new deaths. Remember when this thing started and we were watching with amazement and horror as the cases climbed higher in China, and we're like, wow, this is a really contagious virus. They only had about 80,000 cases total. We built 2 hospitals in like a week and a half. We still can't get our PPE and our testing situation under control. Best country in the world, America. Are we great? Oh my God. I just. Oh. Manchin, I love you. Everything will kill you in Australia except for COVID. Seems that way, huh? Oh my God. And D. Scott. And this is a legitimate concern. I worry McConnell will block everything Biden does. I keep telling myself this, and I know this makes me a bad person, but look, I'm I'm not Bill Nye. I'm not here to be everyone's sweet Mr. Rogers of your science communicator. I'm here to be your slightly evil aunt that tells you the things that your mom did in high school that she won't admit to. I'm that science communicator, right? Here's the thing about Mitch McConnell. Did you see his hand? Did you see that? That man is a Horcrux on his way out. And I sleep I sleep better at night now than I did a week ago, knowing that all these really bad people who have just gotten COVID. Most of the Corey Lewandowski got COVID. Womp womp. They've all just gotten COVID, and a lot of them are older and they have risk factors. So even if they don't die, my God, they now have long-term health issues that we probably don't know about. Chris Christie, he's probably going to be really ill for the rest of his hopefully shortened life. Mitch McConnell, if he hasn't gotten sick yet, oh, you know he's going to. So many of the people in this administration, because they haven't taken the most basic of health precautions, they're going to get sick. And I know this makes me a bad person. I know this makes me a bad person, but the thing that helps me sleep a little better at night now, after these 4 years of waking up at 3 a.m. and checking Twitter to see what has already happened, what awful news has already happened on the East Coast. Like after the first day of that administration, when executive orders started coming down, banning people coming in from, quote, Muslim countries, and it was just a horror show from week one, and it was just this, and the doom scrolling started immediately. I sleep better at night knowing that of natural causes, all of these assholes are one day gonna fucking drop dead. There you go. I can't fix everything. I can't make them not be evil assholes while they're alive. I can't make Mitch McConnell be an okay human being. I can't even guarantee that he won't try to block judicial nominees. I can't guarantee it'll all be okay. But you know what? I can guarantee that one day Donald Trump's going to die. One day Mitch McConnell's going to die. One day everyone in their sad little fucking cabinet, all of them, they're going to die. And I know that's true about everyone, but you know what? It gives me so much relief to think that all these people who have been responsible for all this misery, and I mean deep misery, there are hundreds of children who are still can't be found, who have been separated from their parents. And if that doesn't make you want to cry when you think about it, what is wrong with you? These are people who, it makes me happy thinking about the fact that one day they will cease to draw breath. Okay? So yeah, he's going to gum up the works for Biden, but you know what? He's not going to be around forever. Biden is probably going to, as he said, only take one term for presidency. Hopefully things are going to, no matter what, at least we're not going to keep sliding into fascism right now. We're going to have scientists running the CDC, and it's going to be hard for the CDC to, because the CDC was a beacon of science. It was this wonderful agency that agencies around the world set up their own CDC, kind of modeled after ours. We worked with the WHO. We're not even in the WHO right now. What the fuck? That's where we are. That is where we are right now. So yeah, I think thinking about the people that have hurt so many and allowed so many people come to harm and think we'll be better off when they're not drawing breath, I'm okay with that. And it's mentos are mento. You're absolutely right. Their ideas are going to live on, sadly. And here's the thing: they are, unfortunately, not the problem. They're the symptom, or they're just the symptom. Like they're what happens when you pull the Band-Aid off and see, there's been pus under here this whole time. And there are going to be people who keep voting people like that right into office, which is partially why we have to not get complacent over the next 4 years. It's gonna be really hard, I know, because we all want a fucking break. But you know, this is when to keep donating to civic organizations. This is when to not get complacent. This is when to find a group that is getting people registered to vote and say, hey, can I volunteer? What do you need? Do you need money? Do you need resources? What can I do for you? It's a time to, build a monument to Stacey Abrams, basically, is what I'm saying. But it's a time when politics can maybe build back. I know this is a term from the Biden campaign, but it's a time to maybe build back better a little bit. Can maybe get a little bit of a footing, and maybe get some science back in there, and hope that we also win the next election, because we could use about a decade of stability. But those people are still going to be there. 70 million of them showed up to fucking vote for this guy and his ideas, and the types of ideas that, I mean, they voted for Mitch McConnell over a fucking retired Marine. What in God? I don't even know. But, like I said, one day these dinosaurs are going to die. Meteors are coming for them. It'll be okay. But just keep on, it's there. Just you have to keep showing up. You have to keep showing up, and that's the hardest part. Is tracking every single election, because there are more small elections in your area that are going to keep affecting things at the city and state level. So keep showing up for every election. Find out, go to the website for your local municipality, find out when the elections are, put them into your calendar. It's annoying, but it's worth it. And we'll get there. Oh, this is a really good point. I was just pointing out we need the Senate first. Now, here's the thing. It's easy to worry about Mitch McConnell, but it's also highly likely, and I've gotten this from a few different sources who are kind of DC insiders, it's highly likely that Mitch McConnell ain't going to have shit for power in the Senate, because we still have Georgia on our minds, and it might. There's a good chance that Georgia is going to flip the Senate blue. So fingers crossed. We won't have to worry about Mitch McConnell having even a fucking even the slightest iota of power, and that won't be a problem either. That'd be cool. So just then all we'll have to worry about is the day that he dies. That'll be nice, won't it? So anyways, so I just saw somebody commenting national vote by mail option should exist. I mean, technically, like, it's each state has vote by mail options and for national elections. So it's just, I think that eventually, like, and I'm hoping, whatchamacallit, with this new with the new administration in, and over the next 4 years, we're going to see states trying, because we didn't have a lot of time to flip everything over to a vote by mail system, because it was like, shit, we have pandemic, shit, let's try to get this into a vote by mail thing. I hope more states are going to move to make this much easier by the next election. So we'll see. We will see. Sarda said it would be nice if Georgia was able to claim saving the nation. I know that a couple of different states were responsible for, like, it was a team effort to push Biden over the edge. But man, that night that Georgia went blue, and it's like I woke up the next morning and it had already been announced that the election had already been called for Biden by that point, but I didn't go to bed until Georgia had flipped blue, and at that point, that was when I started bawling. I'm like, it actually turned. It's gonna be okay. This is gonna be all right. We're gonna win. But my God, I have not. I don't remember the last time I got drunk. Like, I legitimately don't know when it was, and I definitely got drunk this last weekend. So that was a good time. All right, let's get through. Let's go through a few more questions instead of just rambling about politics again. So, I feel like I keep trying to get off of politics, and we're not. We're nice. Oh man, Leslie just commented, North Carolina did our part for Trump. Hey, you tried. It's like it's not your fault. You live in that state. It's just it's slowly but surely more and more states are going to turn blue as demographics change. It's going to take time. What's amazing to me is that Texas even came fucking close. Texas is probably, like, it is unlikely that Texas will be blue, or that Texas is going to be red after the next presidential election. Just the demographics are not in their favor anymore. So I'm still shocked over Georgia, and I kind of love that Biden got exactly the number of electoral votes that Trump did last time, and Kellyanne Conway was like, it's a landslide when Trump won last time, because just have a look at this. Just have a look at this lovely little landslide that we've got. Have yourself a lovely little landslide. It's delightful. I'm happy with it. I've seen a couple people comment through the thread that Biden's going to be, Biden's going to be, milk toast generic, but and he will be. Here's the thing. Biden's not going to be a groundbreaking, here's everything you ever wanted out of a president. He's gonna not be, and this is what he ran on, and this is exactly what it's going to be. He's not going to be not Donald Trump. But you know what? That's kind of what he needs. That is kind of what we need. We need someone who is going to be deeply kind and decent. I know that sounds kind of, but he's like, no, we need more. But he has little opinions. It's what's up, tiny dog, what's up? He's like, oh man, he has a lot of opinions. Oh, my husband just got home. But yeah, it's we need someone who's going to, not be, not have his daily helicopter scream. We need someone who's not whose routine isn't wake up, binge 12 Diet Cokes. That's my job. And then tell people that his plan for running the country is just make America great again and stopping there. Someone who understands that he needs experts and to listen to other people and those kinds of things. And that's what I think we'll get out of Joe Biden. So I can't hope that it's going to be perfect. I can't hope that I'm going to get everything out of this presidency. I don't think most of us are going to get everything that we want out of this presidency. But you know what? As John Krasan just said, he speaks in complete sentences, and that's enough for now. So man, the bar has dropped. The bar has dropped. But we're, I hate to say it, but yeah, it's good enough for now. But the main thing that we need is to get out of this kind of COVID nightmare. And I know I'm at the point where I'm rambling. I'm rambling a little bitty bit. I see Russell saying Diet Coke is coming your way. What, you guys forget it? So just a quick note. So there are a couple, just a quick, we're still gonna be hanging out here for another 25 minutes or so. There are a couple different ways that you guys can keep me alive. I appreciate your support over at Patreon, and of course, if you want to make a one-time donation, there's also a link to my PayPal. But if you feel like being very silly and sending me something via my Amazon wish list, there are lots of very funny things in there. I always love being sent candy. It's the best thing, just the funniest thing someone has sent me, and I have no idea who it is because they didn't send like a card. If you, somebody sent me a 1.5 pound bag of cereal of Lucky Charms marshmallows, and it is still just whoever you are, I love you so much. Thank you. But yeah, the link to my Amazon wish list is down there, and it's full of mainly fruit by the foot, boxes of fruit by the foot. So yeah, that is my. It's if you want to support the channel, either PayPal or boxes of fruit by the foot. Anyways, back to this. So we have to. Henry Ortega just commented the edible is kicking in. You know what? Today, I did not. I learned my lesson after that one time when the edible bit me and kicked in a little too early in the stream. I'm like, I have not taken an edible pre-stream since then. It's now it's just maybe a joint. Maybe. Anyways, I was just asked, what's the weirdest thing somebody sent you? It's best/weirdest is still. I'm still gonna go with the marshmallow bag. Because I still have. It's just a bunch of sugary things on there. I put a jar of Nutella on there just to see how quickly someone would get that. And it was the last thing I'd put on there. And it was like immediately purchased, and nobody put a note in there. But yeah, thank you also for the jar of Nutella, whoever said that, because I don't buy it for myself because I know I'll just destroy the fucking jar of it in minutes. But now that it's in the house, I'm destroying the fucking jar of it, so thank you. And I'm really excited. I'm recording another TV show in January. It's all very like it's new, and I'm excited. But I'm like, all right, I feel like I look fine. I'm not like sitting here like picking my body apart. But like whenever you have to do a TV show, you want to lose when I say a little bit of weight, I mean like the tiniest little. I want to look like a slightly more streamlined version of myself. I just want to look, I want to look like I look right now. But when you're on like a TV camera, that adds a little more weight than a webcam does. So I'm like, I got to push back on the Nutella for like a month. I'm not doing anything crazy. Don't freak out. Christian just asked, where do we find your wish list? It is at the bottom of the link. It's the last link in the description of this video. I don't know where it is, but the last link in the description of the video. So Joseph just said, do less drugs, please. Your mind is skipping. No, it's the drugs slow me down enough so that it stops skipping. At least that's what I will tell myself. There are a couple questions up here I wanted to get to. Someone just Dan Keeley just put it out. If you're not on her Patreon, you missed her prank calling the Republican hotline as Melania asking for a divorce lawyer. That is the best way to support me, because you also get something out of that. You guys get access to an extra live stream, and on the Patreon live stream, that's where things get ultra goofy. Like, you guys can get me to prank call the president on there. Things get, it's to borrow a quote, bad things happen in Philadelphia. Bad things happen on my live stream. Things get very, very fun over on the Patreon live stream. It's just there are fewer of us. I answer every question. It's a very good time. But anyways, let's talk a little bit more. Talk a little bit more. Leslie just said the commenter doesn't understand the ADHD brain. I am sure I have untreated ADHD, and there's like no doctor who will diagnose me with that. They're like, nah, you seem to get enough done. You're probably focusing. I'm like, have you seen all of the half-written articles that I have sitting in my Google Drive? Maybe then you'll like, maybe I should bring that to my next psychiatrist appointment. So anyways, back to bad things happen. Patreon Delphia. I like that. So back to the waves. So we had the highest point, like the most people who we had getting sick was at the very beginning in New York, and we didn't have the tests available for it at the time. So we still don't know how many people got sick for sure at that. It's likely that over 2 million people in New York City got sick just based on the fatality data. So it's about, give or take, somewhere between 25 and 30-ish% of New York City has gotten COVID already, which is higher than any other city in the US. And this is based on, I believe, on seropositivity data, but it's hard to, Courtney just asked, does caffeine smooth you out or make you sleepy? It's depends. Most of the time, it's like, this is me on no caffeine whatsoever, and I'm going a zillion miles per hour. So who knows? But there is so back to I'm clearly very, very easily distracted. The best way to figure out if I have this is the defining. Somebody said you surely have ADHD when I described this. I work best when I have to have my brain on 6 things at a time. Like if I'm in a situation that some people say, wow, this is a lot of distractions, I'm like, no, this is how I thrive. They're like, oh, that's ADHD brain. So I wouldn't be surprised if I do, but also, I'll drink caffeine and it gets me through stuff. Anyways, so that first spike in New York was out of control. Luckily, we did lock down kind of enough, or at least like New York City locked down hard enough to get their first outbreak under control. Some parts of the country locked down enough to get the outbreak under control. Like New England, for the most part, they for a while have been out living their lives. Like I know my mom lives in New Hampshire. For a while, she's kind of been, she's like, yeah, New Hampshire's pretty under control. People are, wearing masks, but they're, out living their lives. A lot of the country didn't really lock down that strongly. They're like, yeah, out here in North Dakota, nobody's sick, so we don't have to do shit. Oh, North Dakota. It's always a Dakota, isn't it? Anyways, but that's what happened, is that we never, like, looking at cell phone data, we only really cut down on our movement by about 40%. Other places that locked down cut down by like 80%. They really, really, really cut down. They went down to not moving that much. They stayed home except for to get groceries once a week. Like a lot of places, the places that fared best in this, and I know this is an unpopular thing to say with people, or to people who are, how to phrase this nicely, libertarians, the places that did best are places where the governments gave people health care and money to stay home. So maybe we should consider some universal basic income and making sure that everybody has healthcare just in case they get sick, because taking away healthcare while we're in a pandemic and people are jobless, that's a bad idea. So we kind of need to sort that shit out. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Biden administration when that comes through, but it would be neat if they can, get some UBI to people and to do some rent cancellation slash mortgage forgiveness or something, because people need money, healthcare, and housing right now, and there's not enough of that to go around. That's one of few ways that we manage to keep this under control. Just looking at countries that have managed to keep it under control, like, do we want this under control or not? Do we want to be able to go back to life? And I get, like, I mean, I look at this and go, I get the fiscal concerns. I get looking at this and pretending that we give a shit about the national debt after all the debt that's been run up, for wars that we didn't need to go into. But could we, instead of pretending that debt matters now when people in our country are dying in numbers never before seen in American history, could we pretend we care about the debt when it's for a war, and then stop caring about it when it's people dying on our shores by the thousands each day? Like, this is not the time to be like, hey, we're spending a little too much money. We don't know where we'll get the money. We have never pulled money out of our asses before in this country. We don't know how we'll do it. Not a clue. Where are we going to get the money? We have never spent it on an F-35 that was never put to good use before. Oh, shit. We don't. You mean we did that? This is also my Mitch McConnell impression. Anyways, but just want to say, it seems that countries that paid people to stay home and gave them health care managed to get through this. So if we want to get out of this fucking alive, you know what we do? We give people a couple grand a month, and we tell them to stay the fuck home, and we make sure everybody has health care. And we do that until everybody is vaccinated. And where do we, as Debbie Riddick said, military budget. Yeah, like, I'm just saying, we don't maybe we don't need, like, maybe we don't need to have a military that's the size of the next 13 militaries down combined. Like, I'm just saying, the party of small government is sure fine with a gigantic military that, like, why do we need imperialism? I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe we don't need 800 military bases around the world. Why are we still in Korea? Why are we still in Germany? Those aren't things we need. Maybe we can send that money to healthcare. Maybe we can put that money to UBI. I'm sure there is somebody, like, in a chat room somewhere being like, Cybabe's a fucking communist. And someone in a chat room is going, that's awesome, and someone's saying that's awful. So, but I'm not. I'm a Democrat who just thinks these are things we should be doing. And these are things that could make the pandemic survivable. Like, if we get, and here's the thing, if we get people to stay home and just follow me, I'm sure most of the people here are like, nah, I'm on board, but get people to stay home and this is what they did in Australia, this is what they did in a lot of countries, get people to stay home for 3 months. It's gonna suck. It's gonna fucking suck. I've been doing it since fucking March, and I'm clearly very cranky about it. Get people to stay home for 2 to 3 months. It's going to be awful. Yep, we know. But if they have enough money and they're not worried about paying for groceries, rent, and pornography, it's pay for your porn, by the way. They're not worried about paying for things, and they're able to, pay for their bills. They're not worried about paying for their COVID testing, their COVID treatment, and they're not worried about is their business going to be, all these things. And they stay home, the virus is going to go away entirely. If we can get this thing completely under control, know what happens when everything opens up again? If the virus is under control, like the fuck it is in Australia and New Zealand, the economy really opens up again. And because the thing that's stopping people from going out, it's not the restrictions. Like, if I thought tomorrow, if my spa opened tomorrow, like, as I know I've jokingly bitched about my spa being closed, because, obviously that's the biggest problem in the world right now. But if my spa opened tomorrow, I wouldn't go to it. It's not that the spa is, it's not the government regulations keeping me from going to the spa. It's the COVID stopping me from going to the spa. Like that's the it's the there is a there's not a government stopping people from going to things crisis. There is a holy shit, death is airborne stopping people from going to things. And that is only going to stop when death is no longer airborne. So we need to get this under control and the economy will come back. So when people keep saying we can't do a lockdown, we can't give people money, we can't do, this is the way out of this. And yeah, it's going to be expensive, but it's going to be worth it, because then maybe it's if we do that, then maybe we'll make America great for the first time. So I'm hoping that, you know, we can get our shit together. Maybe we can push Joe Biden really fucking hard. Keep protesting with your masks on. Or, you know, maybe protesting virtually by calling their offices constantly. Just get out there and push these, because they've shown they can be pushed. Joe Biden's changed his name changed his mind on a lot of things since he started running, because he's just been pushed. So, you know, shown he can be, he's shown he can change, he can be worked with. So let's push and get what this country needs to not be a fucking COVID-ridden disaster. So anyways, I think I've rambled about that enough. I'm going to be back on Sunday, obviously, as I always am. I'm gonna, I don't know if I'm going to be able to line up a guest between now and then, but there's a lot going on with the COVIDs right now, exploding all over the place. I feel like we're going to have more news to discuss on that by then. Oh, this is, thank you for bringing this up, Rune, just because this is funny. The libertarian perspective. You're so afraid of death. What's the worst that can happen? I don't know. Death. But anyways, it's Claire. Thank you for the compliment on my headphones and makeup. Just a reminder, the headphones are, it's headphones minus the glitteriness that I added on myself, are available on Amazon. And I went to town on the headphones this time. I have the decorations on the top. Hold on. You can't quite see it, but the decorations are on the front and the back. So if the decorations fall off in the front, I can like flip them around. Oh yeah. I was very determined this time. Anyways, I will see you guys on Sunday. Have a wonderful, and remember, if you want to help keep the, if you want to help me keep the lights on, there's my Patreon, there's my PayPal, and you know, send me some more cereal marshmallows from Amazon. Do whatever you want. Anyways, I love you guys. Stay home. Stay the fuck home. Learn to masturbate with the other hand. It's a good time. It's, you know, watch The Mandalorian again. Do whatever you got to keep yourself at home. I love you guys. I'll see you on Sunday. Have a wonderful night. Wear your masks, wash your hands, and if you possibly can, stay home as much as possible. Bye, guys.